My name is Montel Williams. I am the host of the team of Military Makeover. Art is part of that team along with Jen Bertrand. Art, you were part of the show before I
Yeah.
was. The show was for years. It's produced by a company called Brandstar. Why don't you start? I mean, how did you first get involved? I never asked you.
Yeah, I'll give you the Michael. Thanks for having us. I'll give you the 30,000 foot overview here. Yeah, Military Makeover started as a simple pilot show idea by, as Montel said, by Brandstar Entertainment, and so many people wanted to be involved in it, and we just kept doing it, and we ended up with Arlie Ermy. You might remember the gunny from Full Metal Jacket. He was my co-host for like 4 years, again, leading a team along with myself, contractors, designers. And upon his passing almost 5 years ago, the natural choice, obviously, with Montel's military background and his talk show pedigree and his care and love of veterans and wanting to do a show like this, he was the perfect fit for us. So he stepped in. The show, it's a completely different show now than it was when it started. It's a better show now with Montel, and I'm excited to be alongside Montel. So as he said, he's the team leader. Jennifer Bertrand is our designer, actually does a real design for our veteran families. And I help organize all of these amazing companies and sponsors that want to donate their time, money, and services and personnel to helping these makeovers happen. And Montel guides us through the process and tells us from a veteran's point of view how these veterans actually feel and why they're so deserving.
It's great. And, I mean, honestly, I just nailed it. I mean, as soon as they asked me if I wanted to be a part of this, I said, of course, let's do it. And so 30 families later, we're out here banging away. And, it's been every single family, every single story is a rich, rewarding story to tell and to share with the veteran.
Yep. Montel, can you tell me a little bit about your military journey?
Well, sure. My military career spanned 22 years, but I'm really like 18 and a half years really active duty. I started out in the Marine Corps, enlisted, went to the Naval Academy in Annapolis, got commissioned as a naval officer, then served as a special duty intelligence officer in the Navy until really 1991-ish. And then I went in the reserves for a period of time and started my talk show. And but once my service was done, which was kind of abrupt, I literally never really wanted to take the uniform off. So I'm involved in multiple military initiatives, even right now today. I'm working on initiatives that involve PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and also giving veterans access to efficacious medication in the states they live in.
And that's a big thing. When I talk to veterans, they always talk about the transition process back to civilian life and the challenges. But working with some of these families, how does it feel, to be a support system?
Oh, it's an unbelievable opportunity to do more than just say thank you for your service. It's an opportunity for us to give back in a way that's different than anybody else is giving back. I mean, these veterans don't ask for anything. And that's the thing that I've found in every single story, every single family we've been invited into. A friend or someone else nominated them, and they actually act as if they're undeserving. And then when you dig into their story, you recognize how much they sacrifice for us. Majority of them leaving parts, whether they be physical parts or emotional parts, back on the battlefield. And come home trying to cope, trying to get back into civilian life. I think this is kind of like that physical manifestation that says, you hit the part of demarcation, my friend. It's time to move forward. And we're giving them a forever home, a place that they can come home and relax, enjoy, and be proud of, and also spend good quality family time together in. I mean, I think a lot of this for us, we do the grand reveal, the big reveal, and we let the family go and walk through the house, and they walk through and they're in awe of the changes. I'd love to go back a month later and find out how those changes have resonated in their souls. And I know they have, because you can just see the reaction in faces when they first walk through. You know that it's going to be a triple, quadruple wowie over the next couple of months.
And Art, I was watching a lot of clips where you're talking to a lot of the vendors. How is that the mood where everyone's coming together for these families?
Well, it's an amazing thing to see because, you know, obviously it takes a lot behind the scenes to get all of these amazing companies and products and services to come on our show. And let me just tag on to something that Montel said. You know, what we're doing is giving them a place to step off into a new life. And Jennifer Bertrand, who is a renowned interior designer, she's won HGTV Design Star. She's a big personality, and she really, in a very short period of time, finds what it is that makes this family special and puts that into her design. So as Montel said, it's kind of like the past is the past. We're going to honor your past, but now we're going to give you a fresh start. So these companies that come in, they're, you know, donating paint and new roof and flooring and appliances and countertops and, you know, different types of services, insurance. We're giving away cruises on Norwegian Cruise Line. We're sending them on special little family moments. It's about building. It's about building the family unit up, not just about rebuilding their house. So that's what makes this show different from your average, you know, exciting home makeover show. We have all of those elements, but there's that special element of showing the human side of corporate America as well. And we're all inclusive, you know, on the show. You would think that, you know, there's a certain mentality or political leaning that wants to help the veterans, and that's not true at all. We say, check your politics and your ego at the door, and let's get to work on behalf of an American family, because as Montel will tell you, you know, you don't just go to service overseas and put yourself in harm's way for one political leaning. You do it for the country. And that's what we're trying to show on Military Makeover in our own way. In no way are we political on the show. We try to be the opposite of that and show how teamwork and brotherhood and communication and cooperation can actually get something done of value.
And, you know, I think Art just nailed something really important. You know, we recognize that these servicemen and women have done so much for us abroad in the conflicts of the past, but we're only a blink away from a conflict of today. And so, you know, the thing that I'm really happiest about with the show is the fact that, you know, in spite of, if you look around the country, you look around at other media sources, this is not an aspersion, but it's almost as if we forget war since we're not seeing body bags come back. But it's only a moment, one stroke of a pen by a president, and all of a sudden body bags start coming back again. And, you know, I think this is something that's very special because it resonates with our soldiers, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, all of the Marines around the world. As a matter of fact, the show is actually aired on Armed Forces Radio and Television around the world. So, you know, at a time when we don't hear a lot of people jumping up and down still. I mean, yeah, you walk through the airport, you'll hear, thanks for your service. You know, I think we should see a lot more programming like this that recognizes the fact that even when we don't need you to spill your blood, we really appreciate the fact that you have put a uniform on, you stand up, ready to spill that blood.
And then Montel, you know, you're a TV legend with your show, and then you said you've done other things with the military. But what is it like combining both those skills together?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you know, we're one of the things that you know, we're looking for and really trying our best to accomplish is to provide a program that is worthy to be seen by all. Like right now, we have, you know, it's not limited viewership, but we're expanding the viewership around the country. I think pretty soon this will be a television show that gets invited in everybody's living rooms, just to be able to, you know, sit back and acknowledge the fact that, you know, I can watch the soap operas, I can watch the horror movies, I can watch the, you know, action movies all day long, but we need to just take a moment out of our day just to say again, thank you for those who've done so much for us.
And to show positivity too, Montel. Great point. You know that a lot of people are bogged down in bad news, and there's no bad news on our show. Right. You know, if you're looking for before and afters, we have all of that. If you're looking for a little bit of the drama, are we going to get it done in time? We have that. if you're missing the Montel Williams show from the 90s and early 2000s, we have that too. Montel sits down with our families and tells their story and digs back deeper and peels back the layers. So there's a little bit of everything in there, and just showing a sense of humanity and positivity is what Military Makeover is all about. And that includes the entire production team and the entire team at Brand Star Entertainment.
The one thing I do wish is that we did do a little bit more behind the scenes to show. I mean, it's really incredible how many yeses that Art's able to get when he goes out in the community and tries to find a sponsor who's willing to be a partner. And it's incredible the amount of work that Jen does to find those little pieces that can be added in, those little touches on the wall, those little touches for, she finds things at thrift shops and completely reconfigures them and turns them into, beautiful art pieces for people's homes. So, it's not like, we have this endless budget that we can go in and just lavish and throw money at people. No, these are people who are digging deep. I mean, I probably for every yes Art gets, there's probably 2 or 3 no's. However, he primes those yeses, and we take advantage of them, boy.
Well, I make them feel bad if they don't want to help out our amazing families. But you know what? Let's talk for a second, because Jennifer Bertrand, she upcycles a lot of things in the home. If we're on a limited budget and we're getting a new kitchen, but the cabinets are in good shape, she's going to paint them and put them in a different part of the house, and maybe in the garage, or create a coffee bar or something like that, something that's going to give the family use out of it. And Montel, you know this firsthand. We've got things that you can't see. You walk in and there's a brand new HVAC system with brand new ductwork. Maybe this family was living in mold and mildew. We take care of all of that stuff and give them a place that they can start fresh and lower their expenses as well. So it's an overall, showing thank you for your service, which I'm really proud of, that we are able to pull that off.
Absolutely, and it's a makeover from the ground up, because we do everything from the outside, the inside, you name it. So it's unbelievable. I mean, the very last house, the house that we're, they're going to feature here soon, the Mitchell family. I mean, it was a house that was, an older design, a lot of just, space that didn't make sense, with walls and places that didn't make sense. And Jen can take one step into the room and go, "Oh no, that's got to go." The next thing you know, walls are gone, kitchens are formed, new rooms are, it's amazing.
And Art, since you've been with the show, how does it feel for you to, help these families all the time?
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And listen, I don't have a background in military service, and I like to say that that's important, because coming into it for me, I had worked with Brand Star in the past, almost 10 years ago when we started this. And they said, "Hey, we're just doing this. It might not be anything, but we need someone to host it, kind of move it along and narrate it from the field." So I just jumped in and did it. And as I grew with the show, I learned firsthand exactly what Montel says. It's lip service to say thank you for your service. We all do that, and we should do that. But it's even more important to actually get involved and do things. So I've seen these families up close. I've seen the injuries, both physical and unseen injuries, up close, and emotional trauma that these families have gone through. And the family serves right alongside of our veterans, be it a male or female veteran, because they have to keep it together at home and move around the country and uproot their lives. So I have learned a lot, seeing it firsthand, working alongside my old friend the Gunny, and then working obviously along Montel. He's a friend, but I can honestly tell you he's a television legend. And to be able to learn and see things through his point of view, it's just been an amazing experience. And like I said, there's no bad news on the show. It's one of these things that, as long as there's people who want to step up and write a check or send a bunch of material and personnel to help somebody, this show will continue to go on. That's one of the things.
How about the folks who want to swing the hammers? Oh, people who want to actually use the paintbrushes, people who actually want to dig the dishes. That's what's so incredible about this too, because not only do we help an individual family, but I think you give a community something to rally behind. I mean, there's not a lot of things to rally behind in America right now, but when an entire community can come together, people that don't know each other, and they're coming together for one reason and one reason only, and that's to make the lives better of a veteran. Come on now. That's the kind of thing that we need to have reverberating around America.
And it's kind of grassroots, right, Montel? It's like we go to these small towns, these small communities, and we're the biggest thing in the town for the 2 weeks that we're there. And you see the community come out, whether it's an older woman down the street who has baked cookies for the crew and wants to bring something down to help, or it's an electrician and his team that take an entire week off of their work to come and volunteer to help. We see that all the time. And, veterans helping veterans.
How about the high school clubs? There's some high school organizations that'll just show up, and they show up to do the gardening or to remove trash, or it's amazing. That sense of camaraderie that the community gets to feel around a project that they know is doing their neighbors a lot of good.
Yeah, and we film it all in real time. We're documenting all of these things as they happen. So I always like to tell, and Montel reinforces this when he speaks with the families, that these are sort of time capsules of a moment for these families that they can look back 20 years from now and say, look where we were, how we bared our soul and talked about what's inside us and the trauma that we've experienced. And now, hopefully, a decade or two later, they can go back and go, wow, look how far we've come. And something as simple as changing our environment changed our outlook. So I agree with Montel. I think we should go back, and that should be, sort of the spinoff of Military Makeover, to revisit the stories of some of our veterans.
And it's important to understand that the veteran, when they sit down with me, I mean, most of them have looked at the interviews that I've done, and they know that I'm going to come in and kind of not gut them, but open them up. Right. And I open them up, and the reason why I do that, or I try to do that, is because there are so many other veterans at home living vicariously through them. So they make it okay. I mean, one of the things that we do is, when we can, if a veteran needs services, we try to get them those services. But through the services that they receive, they then literally just portray for the average veteran, yes, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. I didn't do anything wrong by asking for help. I didn't even do anything wrong for seeking it out. And it's amazing. I mean, some of the interviews that we have done have been, I think, some of the most compelling interviews I've done over 30 years, because some of these families really, really, really want to make sure that they can reach out to help others through what they have to say.